Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Ava, aka Queen Midas, Life Alchemist, and I am here for the first episode of a brand new series that I started. And this is going to be called Heal the Chakras, Heal Your Life. And I'm going to be using, well, it is called Heal the Chakras, Heal Your Life. Excuse me. And I'm going to be using this book, Eastern Body, Western Mind, Psychology and the Chakra System as a Path to the Self. And this is a book written by Anodia Judith. This is a highly touted book, and it's been spoken about very frequently in healing circles and book clubs. And it's just helped a lot of people transform their lives and have a better understanding of the energetic interactions that manifest themselves physically within our bodies, or the energetic, I guess, impressions that can be left in our bodies and manifest in disease or different types of dysfunctions or body postures as well. So, or repeated programs. So I'm going to be taking you all through this book. It is a hefty book, so this will be a ongoing series, and it's very in-depth, especially when it gets into the different chakras. So this first 3 videos is going to be just on the introduction and an opening up and an explanation of the what the chakras are, the background, programming, the human structure, and how different destabilizations within our different energy systems present themselves as well. So it's very interesting information. I am highly enjoying it, but I'm a science, like I have a science background, and I love that's just knowing how things work and what happens and have an understanding of what's going on. So if you are any bit interested in that, I would love for you to stay with me and experience this with me as well. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen because I did create a presentation. So let me go ahead and share the screen. Cool. So let's get started here. All right. So as you can see, this is Heal the Chakras, Heal Your Life, a healing journey with Queen Midas, Life Alchemist. That's me. And this is using the Eastern Body, Western Mind Psychology and the Chakra System as a Path to the Self by Anodia Judith. All right, so I'm starting out here. Let me move my screen out of the way. Starting out here with a quote that says, "Few are willing to delve into the depths of their psyches and actually do the work required to make lasting changes in their inner and outer life." So as star seeds and light workers, a lot of us have had tumultuous lives, a lot of issues with relationships, stability, security, feeling like things we don't quite fit in, feeling like our families are kind of alien to us and everything. And a lot of us have embarked on our shadow healing journeys, our shadow work. And that's a lot of what my channel is about. So it's about, to empower the people, the audience, to really have that courage to go within themselves and make those lasting changes that start with our inside and ultimately reflect in our outside lives as well. So the next quote says, "If the outer world is to be transformed, and the process must begin from within. If the inner world is to be transformed, it must be understood in light of the outer forces that shaped it. These realms are not separate." And that is a quote from Anodia Judith, who is the author of this book. And that's so, so beautiful because it just shows how we are a reflection of our environment, and vice versa. Our environments are a reflection of us. That's why it's so, so critical that we really monitor, number one, our thoughts, and then also the energies that we allow ourselves to be around, the environments that we allow ourselves to be around, the people, places, things that we are ingesting or spending the most time with, because they directly affect our inner world as well. The two are not separate. And here's some objectives. I'm just going to quickly brush over this, and then we're going to go straight into the content. So I'm going to start out with an explanation of the chakras as functional energy systems in our bodies. An explanation and importance of chakra balance and alignment will happen later on in the presentation, as along with an explanation of the chakral blockage and imbalance, what that means, and what it presents itself as in each chakra. So again, each different chakra has its own chapter, so that will be discussed within each specific chapter, along with the methods to test for chakral imbalance and healing methods as well. So what is blocking down here? Okay, and an explanation of each chakra. Alrighty, so here we go. Origins of chakras. So chakras first originated, they're first spoken about 4,000 years ago in ancient Indian literature. And this includes in the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which I actually have right here. I have not started yet, but I'm really excited to delve deeper into this. And this thought method and idealization here, or ideology, excuse me. And then also the Sat Chakra Nirupana. So yeah, those are the scriptures that are, I almost said readily available. I don't know that that's true for all four of those, but those are the scriptures that first presented the chakras to the world. And chakras were then brought over to the Western world by Arthur Avalon in his book Serpent Power. So Arthur Avalon was actually, I believe, oh no, I lost the information. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure if he was where he hailed from, but he did end up kind of linking the bridge between the East and the West with the chakra knowledge. Okay, well, oh well. So the locations of the chakras, they are not physical locations, they are energetic centers within our bodies, and chakra actually means wheel or disc when it's translated. And these locations, these energetic locations actually vary slightly from person to person because we are built differently. We have different height weight ratios, different lengths of our spines and everything, and we're just all individual beautiful humans. So they are in slightly different locations. However, the expression is or the presentation of balance or destabilization is pretty similar with it across the board because of what the energetic centers express energetically. So their expression here, it says, is evident in the shape of our physical bodies and our lifestyle patterns. So that's actually going to be a topic, the very next topic for the next video that we get into. I'm going to be showing the different expressions of dysfunction in each different chakra. It's pretty interesting. So here on the next slide, what are chakras and what overall purpose do they serve? The value of the chakra system is that as the inner and outer worlds connect, as we said before, as I read before in Anodia Judith's quote, we become aligned spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically when we have that connection. So our chakras, they are a structured chain, again, of seven energy centers. They are referred to as wheels or discs within our energetic body, and they're located throughout the body. And this is where our life force organizes and flows. Each energy center is represented by a different color of the rainbow to express the 7 vibrational modalities of human existence through diversity of light. So over here on the left side, you'll see the chakra wheels from the base or root chakra all the way up to the crown, and I believe that's the soul star chakra at the top. But as light descends or it slows down, it becomes more dense, and the frequency or the expression of the light changes. So the root is going to be the most dense, slower vibrating light wave, if that makes any sense. So you'll see here on the left, and we are moving forward. All right, so here we get into Kundalini and just a little explanation of what it is. So yogic practices teach that Kundalini is a serpent goddess, and she's a representation of evolutionary life force. When she's awakened, she dances her journey through each chakra, establishing the rainbow as a bridge between matter and consciousness. So matter being the lowest at the root chakra and consciousness being the highest at our upper chakras, crown and up and through the soul star and higher. So the axis mundi is the central axis of the world that runs through our vertical core. The chakras are the wheels along the axis, excuse me, which move the self along the evolutionary journey and across the rainbow bridge to reclaim our sovereign divine nature. So as we heal and balance and find a connection between our base, our root, all the way up to our which is the seat of manifestation, and our connectedness to this physicality, this physical body, and we get that connection up into our consciousness and the mental realm, then we are creating that, we are having that, completing that journey of the rainbow bridge, and that enters us into our true divinity, our true divine nature, and our sovereignty. And that is our quest of ascension. So I'm going to read a little bit of this on page 3. I wanted to just give a little side information as well. So this says, mythologically, the rainbow has always been a sign of hope, a connection between heaven and earth, a sign of harmony and peace. It was once believed that deities, spirits, and mortals passed along its bands of color, both during life and after, protecting the indivisibility of sky and earth. In Norse mythology, the rainbow bridge connected humans to the gods and provided the link to Valhalla, the celestial palace where the gods had their dwelling. The rainbow, as an archetypal symbol, appears in many mythologies around the world. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Maya created the world out of 7 rainbow-hued veils. In Egyptian myth, it was the 7 stoles of Isis. In Christianity, the 7 veils of Salome. For the Babylonians, it was Ishtar's rainbow jeweled necklace. So you see there's this consistent symbol of the rainbow. It's a very sacred, beautiful thing. And there's a lot of distorting of the rainbow going on, and I'm not stating anything against LBGTQ XYZ whatever. This is nothing against those individuals in particular. This is me speaking about the agenda behind taking the rainbow and distorting it, because in the process of distorting the rainbow and confusing people about what it actually symbolizes, which is the connectedness between our physical body and our divine consciousness, and creating that balance of energies, including our masculine and feminine energies, by distorting that and taking everything out of balance and attacking our roots and our sacral and our solar plexus chakras, and just kind of skidding, that's not the word, kind of jolting that energy and disrupting it. They're also disrupting chakral energy, essentially, by confusing and skewing the beauty of the energies and our connectedness to the how we express ourselves through these chakras. Okay, so Oh, also the Greeks, the winged iris who carried God's messages to humans on earth is how they symbolize the rainbows as well. And so I love this part because in one of my tribe talks, actually this is like the second or third tribe talk that I did, and I tapped into the collective and just felt super heavy energy. I even it's like I almost got lost in the energy, but I had this epiphany that we are the elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay. We are that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that everybody's always searching for. The rainbow is our connectedness, connecting our physicality to our spirituality. And the pot of gold is our truest, most beautiful, vibrant expression of our divinity, of our self, of our sovereignty. And it's so beautiful because in this book, it actually expresses that as well. From Celtic myth, the pot of gold at the rainbow's end represents a kind of holy grail, the lost vessel of spiritual renewal and fulfillment. And so let's just go ahead and move on to the next slide here. So I have crossing the rainbow bridge refers to conscious evolution, reconnecting with our divinity to anchor it into the world around us and heal the present rifts. How beautiful is that? And I already went over this, but the rainbow is an archetypal symbol of hope seen throughout the world, connecting heaven to earth, which brings in harmony and peace. Not only harmony and peace around the world, but harmony and peace within us first, because we are balanced and stabilized in our chakras as well. We're not overexpressing or underexpressing in one center or the other. And Carl Jung, the philosopher, psychologist, actually referred to gold as the symbolic end product of our inner alchemical transformation. So this is what I talk about a lot on my channel, is alchemizing the darkness, alchemizing the shadow, alchemizing the things that might have been coal or a less desirable material into beautiful shining gold. Finding that center, finding that balance, finding that stabilization within our energetic centers to reconnect our physicality to our divinity. And at the bottom, I have, you are the holy grail. You are the elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that must be rediscovered. And that is the journey that we are on right now. And that is the journey that I would love to help you all with by delving into this book, because it's a pretty big book and it can be fairly intimidating for some people who are not fully readers. So yes, I have here in Turkish, rainbow literally means bridge. So as our ascension continues, it's critical for us to embark on this sacred quest of crossing that rainbow bridge and finding that reconnection. Really, really cool. Y'all, this is my first time doing this with this presentation with a PowerPoint, or doing a video with a PowerPoint. So hopefully, I don't know if you all can see the bar that I'm having to keep moving around, but hopefully I will find a better way to do this next time. So this next, we're moving into the chakras, which I spoke about being wheels or discs, referred to as wheels or discs. And if you think of a disc, it's an informational storage unit, like a floppy disk, a CD, disk drive, it's something to store information on. All right, so the chakras are centers of organization that receive, assimilate, express life force energy, and correlate with our basic states of consciousness. And again, each different center controls different aspects of our existence, and it's basically it commands different aspects of our existence and has different affirmations or beliefs or base programming that is tied to it. And when in alignment, we are in alignment and we are operating at our most balanced self, or as our most balanced self. So I'm going to talk a little bit about yoga right now. Yoga actually means yoke. So this yokes the individual together with the divine through mental and physical practices. Oh my gosh, y'all. I looked through this so many times, and I think because I looked through it so many times, I missed the typos. It's driving me crazy. But anyway, yoga helps us to reconnect with our bodies and to learn where we have an imbalance of energy. It also helps us to understand how our bodies move in space and to adapt to that. So it's a great training process or a great training modality to help us really root and ground into our bodies while training our focus, our connectivity to spirit and connectivity to our stillness of mind as well. So we have 7 major chakras, if you see here on this being on the screen. So there's 1, the root at the bottom, the sacral in the middle here, or around at the hips here, the solar plexus around in the middle of the ribs there. We have the heart chakra just in the middle of the breastbone, the sternum. And then we have the throat chakra here at the base of the neck. Moving on to the third eye, which is just above the brow. And then at the crown of the head, we have the crown chakra as well. So there's 7 major chakras. However, there are also minor chakras that are found in our hands, feet, fingertips, and our shoulders as well. I don't remember exactly how many chakral centers we have within our bodies. I believe it's a couple hundred. I could be wrong, but I believe that is the truth. If somebody knows, please correct me. Hopefully I remember to find that out, but it's not super important because we're only going to be focusing on the 7 major chakras here. Okay. All right, moving forward. Oh, no, let me go back because I have a little bit more to share here. So as I mentioned, chakras are not physical locations within the body. They're energetic centers. And though they cannot be found physically, they do have a strong effect upon the body as they express the embodiment of spiritual energy on the physical plane. I'm reading from the book. This is on page 5 if anybody's following. So chakra patterns are programmed deep in the core of the mind-body interface. If we're thinking like a computer, like the interface and that information stored on the disk. And we have a strong relationship with our physical functioning. So if one is out of whack, that throws the others around it off whack as well, and then our energy is skewed and just thrown off. Just as the emotions can and do affect our breathing, heart rate, and metabolism, the activities in the various chakras influence our glandular processes, body shape, chronic physical ailments, thoughts, and behavior. So I talk about this in the book that I'm reading on Weekend Book Club called The Body Keeps the Score. And this discusses a lot that is actually correlates with what will be discussed in this book about how disruptions and fear and trauma, anxiety, whatever energetic dis-ease or just imbalances that we are holding within our bodies physically manifest themselves in illness, acute or chronic disease, pains as well, and shifts in posture and difficulty breathing, heart rate. It's very interesting. You know, if we're afraid or if we're anxious, we typically take short breaths when we're in that fight or flight. It's chest breathing. It's not deep belly breaths, which are going to be cleansing and getting oxygen to our brains, which help us to think clearly, which put us in a more parasympathetic state and help us put off a different cascade of hormones, which help us to be more calm and relaxed and be able to think clearer than we would if we were in that fear state in shorter breaths, setting off a different hormone cascade that's stress hormones and adrenaline, cortisol, and things that just kind of make us act out of our lizard brain. Okay, so I'm going to read the next few sentences here. By using techniques such as yoga, as I mentioned earlier, breathing, bioenergetics, physical exercise, meditation, and visualization, we can in turn influence our chakras, our health, and our lives. So it's really beautiful that we're able to take this back because as I've mentioned in other videos before, we're attacked from several different aspects in our life and in our world. And by just slowing down, breathing, focusing on our breath, even smiling into the mirror, sets off a hormone cascade and changes chemical levels within our brain. Yoga, as I mentioned, connecting our bodies to our mind and just teaching our minds to just cut out all of the chatter. And also when we stretch and we open up those closed pathways and get movement and blood flow in those tissues and joints, we might, and this actually is discussed later in the book, but we might release stored information in the form of memories or crying, sometimes even anger, especially if we're dealing with the hips or the quads. So anger, shame, resentment, a lot of those are held right in our hip and quad area. So by really tapping into and connecting our body, with our bodies, we can start to heal ourselves, you all, and we don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. We just have to make the conscious effort and be proactive and participants in our healing process. Bottom line, that's it. It's our personal responsibility, and it's time for us to start taking that back. Okay, so this is one of the essential values of the system, that it maps onto both the body and the mind and can be accessed through either. So this is just saying that information can be accessed through the body or the mind. So sometimes one is blocked or the other is blocked, but you can still access information from the alternate route. Okay, so now I'm going to go into some benefits of working with our chakras. You all, if you are resonating with this information, please click down below, click the like button. And if you are returning to my channel and you are not subscribed, or this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel and become a part of the Alchemist tribe and join us on our healing journey. All of my videos are just about diving into the self and reclaiming our sovereignty and taking personal responsibility for alchemizing the gunk and the lessons and the heaviness in our lives into beauty and abundance and success and healing. So I would love to have you join the tribe. All right, so getting back to the benefits. So as I was mentioning with stretching or just getting movement in our joints and our tissues, it helps to free blocked energy and also blocked emotions. It helps us to free various aspects of ourself, because we learn a lot when we find out that we're tense in certain areas that we wouldn't have realized, or that we can't move in certain ways because we haven't tried it before. And then when we go into a certain range of motion, we're like, oh, I can't get past, or I can't wiggle my toes individually. A lot of people can't do that, but it takes practice, and it takes consciously connecting your mind to those energetic points in our toes and getting that communication happening to get the movement happening and bring lubrication and energy back to the joints. We should be moving throughout all of our joints, and there should be healthy movement and fluidity. So also facilitates new insights and healthier behavior patterns and an improved quality of life. So if you move better, if you have better posture, you're breathing better, you're thinking more clearly, you are also just good posture exudes confidence, and it creates confidence within the self as well. If you think about hunch posture, it's kind of like trying to shrink in space and like, I don't want to be seen, like, don't look at me, I'm scared, I'm ashamed. But when we have this heart open posture with our chest down, our shoulders down, and our chin in a neutral position, that's a more confident, like, I can take on the world way to present yourself. It allows us to connect more fully with people. So when we are in alignment and balance with ourselves and we know ourselves better, we're able to more fully connect with people. It increases inner peace. It heightens our psychic and our spiritual knowledge because, again, we are making that base to crown connection. It improves our self-esteem, self-confidence, and it improves our attention to self-care. So when we start paying attention to the energy centers within us that are out of alignment, and we're taking active or conscious effort to stabilize them, then we're automatically doing self-care. And that shows that we have the courage and the desire and the self-esteem and the self-confidence to do that. Because, again, it's not an easy journey. It's not an easy task, but it's so, so rewarding because look at all these benefits. It improves our quality of life and the way that we interact with the world and how we perceive and view the world. And it helps to purify our thoughts and our presence. It's so beautiful. It also improves our ability to communicate ideas, hopes, and dreams because we are clearing out those blocked centers that might have been like, oh, especially with the throat chakra, if we didn't speak up or we were too scared to speak or we were over expressing, gossiping or speaking too much or oversharing, that's the overexpression of that chakra, and then not speaking enough and hiding back how we not sharing our thoughts, feelings, and desires or our needs is suppression. More focused and relaxed functionality and inner poise and increased natural immunity and a better ability to handle stress. So again, that comes from the balance of those energetic centers. And when we're balanced, we are less likely and less prone to be in dis-ease. When we are fully hydrating and fully our respiratory cycle is fully functioning, we're taking deep breaths and slowing down and letting the oxygen just penetrate our tissues and purify our blood as it goes through our tissues. It's easier for our blood to purify the toxins and get the toxins out as well. And all of that is going to help to create a more alkaline state that's less prone to disease and less prone to less welcoming to disease states. So, and I have this note here, benefits are enhanced when paired with healthy, clean eating and regular exercise, definitely, because it's not enough to just take care of your outside. You also have to, other way. Well, both ways. It's not enough to just take care of your inside. You are a physical being, so make sure that you are taking care of your vessel as well. All righty. So here, this is actually a, excuse me, a chart that is in the book on page 7. I couldn't find a picture on the internet, so I just took it out of my book. But here it's a picture of the chakras, our 7 chakras, the main ones, the basic issues and elements that are tied to each one. So if you see, starting at the bottom, we have the root chakra, and it goes up into the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra. And if you see on the elements, they get lighter and more free as we raise in the chakras. So as we ascend, we start with the root, which is survival. It's tied to survival, security, stability, the right to be here. Okay, and we'll go over the rights tied to the chakras actually later on. It's pretty eye-opening. So the right to be here. This is earth element, and it has to do with gravitation. So again, being rooted, being tied to earth and physically in our body. And then we have the sacral chakra, which is tied to sexuality and creation. It's and like passion and just like the energy of energy. And this is a little lighter. It's like fluid physicality. So in here we've got polarity. This is the words in italics are actually how they're terms that the author used in her own interpretation. So the next one we have is the solar plexus, which is tied to our willpower, confidence, self-esteem. What else am I trying to think of? Well, that's what's coming to me right now. But yeah, so that's our third chakra, and it's associated with fire or combustion. Like if we think about solar plexus energy, it's like the sun, like the sun card actually in tarot is tied to solar plexus energy, tied to Leo energy, which is a fire sign in the tarot as well. So that's like where our willpower and the I am and the pride and the courage is rooted there. The fourth chakra is going to be the heart chakra, where love is exuded. And this is associated with air and the equilibrium. So if you think it's in the middle, and it's almost like the bridge between the lower three chakras, which are the practical chakras, and it says ruled by the physical and social law. So they deal with survival, movement, and action. And the upper four deal with the mental realms, which include words, images, thoughts, and ideas. So the heart chakra kind of like bridges between those. As we move on to the fifth chakra, which is our throat chakra, tied to communication, as I was speaking about on the last slide. This is the element of sound, of vibration, of frequency. So beautiful. If we think about the verse in the Bible, in the beginning was the word. And I believe that the word I've heard was Om, the sound, that reverberation throughout the universe. And it's really beautiful. I have the Om symbol on my wrist, and I got it years ago. I think it was my second or no, maybe my third or fourth tattoo. And I didn't really know why I got it. I just knew I liked the sign or the symbol. And pretty interesting, because all my tattoos, I've gotten them, and intuitively I've known why I've gotten them, but I haven't found out until years later. Interesting. Anyway, that's a side note. Moving on to the sixth chakra, which is the third eye chakra that a lot of people know about. So this is tied to our intuition, our wisdom, our insight, our foresight, our psychic gifts and abilities. And it's associated with light and luminescence. So again, as you notice, matter is getting more and more free here, starting from the bottom and moving up. Our seventh chakra is the crown chakra at the crown of our head, and this deals with cognition and actually our connectedness to the divine, and deals with thought and consciousness. And if you think about how we are so attacked in the air, the water, the food, the music, the frequencies put out, the ideas and the programming, a lot of effort goes into disrupting our survival, our right to be here, disrupting our security, stability, safety. You know, this is actually tied to finances as well. And if you think about all the banking families, well, it's not all, it's like one or two, but they're hitting us at our root, where it hurts the most and where it disrupts the energy all the way up the channel. So sexuality thrown at us from every angle, even in children's stuff, you know, starting out early, drag time, story hour, whatever the hell that is. You know, all the stuff that's subliminally put in Disney, you know, at clubs, red lights, red and orange and yellow, all these lower vibrational colors, not in a negative way. They're beautiful colors. However, they're tactfully used to disrupt us and to put us in these lower states of carnality and sexuality, and just to keep us there and away from our divinity and clear thought consciousness. And also, if you think about it, a lot of logos have red in them. And that's for a good reason, because it taps into our root, our base needs. Okay, let me see if there was anything in here that I have not tapped on that I wanted to. Yeah, the lower chakras, which are physically closer to earth, are related to more practical matters, as I mentioned. And the upper chakras are related to the mental realm. Okay, very cool. Okay. I found this to be interesting because in the Bible, Jacob's ladder is spoken about, and it's this whole like, oh, the angels went up and down, and Jacob had, or I don't even know if he had a dream or a vision or he actually saw it. I don't remember. I left church a long time ago, and it's really funny how much I don't remember. But anyway, I'm just going to read on this and then I'll expand. So it says, together the chakras describe a kind of Jacob's ladder connecting the polarities of heaven and earth, mind and body, spirit and matter. These polarities exist on a continuum, with the chakras as incremental steps that are embodied within all life processes. Each step upward moves from a heavy, well-defined vibrational state to a higher, subtler, or free form. Each step downward brings us into form and solidarity. So you see how this connectedness, we can slide up and down the scale and be down in our meaty bodies, and then like connect to our higher self, to divinity. And this again makes me think about the Rainbow Bridge, how I read on in a lot of ancient cultures and folklore, they believed that deities, spirits, and mortals passed along this rainbow bridge, the connection between heaven and earth, and it was a sign, the rainbow was a sign of harmony and peace. Really interesting. Okay, so let's keep moving along. So this next section is called the human biocomputer. And if we think about a computer, it's got hardware, software, and a user. Those are like the main, if we think of like broad scale components. So with the human biocomputer, our body is the hardware, okay, our meat suit, not soup, God, our physicality, and programming is the software, and then the user is the self. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the chakras are the discs that store information, energetic information. Yes, our brains do, as they store information in the form of memories, but that's not the only. Interesting. I don't know if chakras could be considered like brains, but they are other storage units, and they store memories as well. I didn't haven't made that connection till now. Interesting. Anyway, side note. So I'm going to read this little section right here. This is on page 8. It says, we have a survival program that tells us when we need to eat, how many hours to sleep, and when to put on a sweater. It contains details such as how much money we think we need, root chakra, what we are willing to do for that money, solar plexus chakra, which constitutes a threat for our survival, and what makes us feel more secure. Likewise, we have programs for sexuality, power, love, and communication. In this analogy, the seventh chakra can be thought of as the operating system. It represents how we organize and interpret all other programs. Okay. The seventh chakra, so the crown chakra. They're saying the operating system. So if our energy input is screwed up down here at the root, and then they're up there fluoridating our water, trying to throw fluoride in our mouths at the dentist, in our toothpaste, sprinkling whatever heavy metals and whatnot in all our stuff, and disrupting our third eye, and ultimately our connectedness to God and source, and then they're going, all those extracurricular links to disrupt our root and our state of being, and security and safety and willing and right to be here. They're screwing up the whole chain. And I'm saying they, as in the controllers of this realm. This has been thought out. tactfully, like I mentioned before. Okay, so programs may or not be conscious. So we're individually each left with the responsibility to discover our own individual programming, to update it, to rewrite it, and to get the bugs out. So this is our quest right here. That's our quest to journey across the rainbow bridge, to do our shadow work, to decide what is and isn't for us, to distinguish what we're carrying, not only from this life, but from generations before us that might have been on our father's side or on our mother's side, or things that we like, energies and emotions that are deep seated, suppressed, that we didn't even know we carried, or that we carry and we express and we don't understand why. So it is our responsibility. It's within our personal power to discover this programming that is suppressed, that's either beneficial to us or that is outdated and that needs to be removed and rewritten. Okay. And I skipped ahead. So many of our programs are in fact not ours. They are outdated and of ancestral or societal origin. So societal origin meaning like any type of programming, agendas, indoctrination that is put out in institutions like schools, religion, politics, stuff like that, that is just meant to hoard the masses. Hollywood, think about broadcasting. So on channels, channeling information, channeling, okay, broadcasting, casting like spell casting, right? If you think about Hollywood, the holly tree was the type of tree that druids back in the ancient Celtic religions, I believe, they fashioned their wands out of that. So if you think about Hollywood, movie magic, excuse me, the cast of the movie, casting spells, channels, surfing channels, tuned in on TV and radio, being tuned into something, or having your frequencies tuned. Yeah, so think about the words that are the language that is put before you and used against you when you're speaking. So be very mindful of the words. The next thing says, what activates programs is the energy poured into the system. By understanding the flow of energy, life force, chi, or prana, we can better understand the individual. So I'm thinking of the folk tale of two wolves, and I don't know what culture this came from, but I believe it's like a grandfather talking to his grandson, or anyway, he's talking about these two wolves, a black one and a white one, or something like that. And I guess one is more like vicious and aggressive, and the other one's more nurturing or whatever. And I don't know if they were getting in a fight or like head to head or something. And the little boy says, so I'm super synopsis right now, and I might be missing details, but I'm getting to, it's the overall point. So the kid is like, so which wolf wins? Which one wins? And the granddad says, the one you feed. Okay. So this goes straight into the energy that's poured, and a program is activated when energy is poured into a system. This is directly correlated to cycles. When we are trapped in a cycle, or we notice that we are having the same interactions, the same conversations, getting money, and within a day it's all gone, all, like just these cyclical things, we have to notice that we're putting energy into that specific program. The way that we get out of that program is by shifting the energy, by having a different response, by taking the track and going, and then the train goes this way. And that's how we break that program. That's how we write that programming. That's how we get a different outcome. Okay, that's how we break cycles. So the things that we place our energy or attention into are the things that grow and the things that are perpetuated. So let's say we have the option to show up and be in a bad mood or expecting negative things, or we have the option to be happy and excited and just open to possibility. Whatever you choose is the program that you kick off, and the cycle, the cascade that you choose as well. So this is so much power that we have, and so much ability we have to shift and transform our lives, and shift and transform the interactions that we have within ourselves and with others as well. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, you all. So in the comments down below, or you know what? You don't even necessarily have to put it down below if you don't want to, but I would challenge you to take out a pen and paper and identify some of the programs or the cycles that you find yourself in. And a easy way to do that is be like, when blank happens, then I blank. Let me see. When I wake up in the morning and I know I have to go to work, then I get pissed off. You know, okay, so that's one thing. That's one way that already starts and kicks off this whole cascade of emotion and just sets the tone for the day. So I would challenge you to identify any programs or cycles that you find yourself in repeatedly. And then what you do with that is rewrite them, literally physically rewrite them. So, okay, I was caught in my ring. The way you do that is, when I blank whatever activity, whatever the situation is, then and write something different. And then I challenge you also to try that something different and see how your life changes. I'm going to challenge you all to do that for a week, because it's pretty incredible, and it changes your lives. Or okay, I'll rewind that. It has changed my life, definitely, to choose a different path and then experience a different outcome and a different energetic cascade. It's really beautiful, and it's empowering too, because you're literally shifting the course of your reality. You know, we have that power. And if you feel comfortable, please feel free to put it in the comments, you know, something that something that you want to shift in. Or, you know what, let's start with 2, because it can be kind of difficult to be doing all these, like all of these different cycles. Try to identify 2 to 3 cycles this week that you can start consciously shifting. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, by understanding the flow of energy, life force, chi, ki, or prana, we better understand the individual. So this also goes back to the different postures that we will be getting into in the next episode. So it's called body armor, the types of body armor. If you think about that, the way that we're protecting our energy, when people who have a trained eye and can see this, when they see these specific postures, they already get an idea of what this person is dealing with. It's almost like a diagnosis from observation. So our understanding of the chakras comes from a pattern analysis of energy flowing through a person's body, behavior, and environment. Here's some examples. Sally's pattern might be to ignore her body and live entirely in her head. George's pattern might be to push people away whenever they get close, while simultaneously talking too much in an attempt to keep them engaged. Jane might move from one job to another, never staying long enough to get a promotion, and might carry a poor self-image because of her lack of success. These patterns can be seen as expressions of the way chakra programs run our human biocomputers. And then it also goes on to say that it's common to have a perfectly good program and not know how to access it. And activation actually requires us to tap into that energy. And it requires, am I getting ahead? A little bit, yeah. So it requires us to tap into that energetic pathway, and it there must be energy going through the pathway for us to express that um energetic center correctly. So if one center is shut down or underexpressed, we're going to be underexpressed in the presentation of the strengths of that center. So here is a picture from the book. This is on page 13. And if you see, I had to take a picture of my book because I couldn't find it on the internet. And so it's got my notes and stuff in here. So we see the chakras from the root all the way up to the crown. And you'll see on the right and left sides, it says from the left side going down, this is the current of manifestation, the pull of the soul and the body. So the pull of the soul and the body on consciousness, bringing consciousness into form. So beautiful. So moves toward form, density, boundaries, contraction, and individuality. Boundaries, so like bringing the energy into parameters, and contraction, so like shrinking the space, because we are limitless, eternal beings, huge souls, way bigger than this avatar that we are in. We are contracted and compressed and placed within the boundaries of these muscles and this bones and skin, and that's beautiful. And we have our individuality. We are formed individually and manifested here in this existence. So I have soul manifesting into a meat suit right there. On the right side, current of liberation. So this is, remember, as I was saying, as energy becomes less dense, it becomes freer. It's more liberated. So it moves. It's the pull of the mind and spirit on the body, like pulling the energy out of the body, out of the physical. Moves toward freedom, expansion, abstraction, and universality. Wow. Okay. Couldn't say that, but like the oneness, the consciousness, the God sense that we all are. And if we are all fractals of God, fractals of source, it's like getting out of our individuality and getting into the connectedness, the oneness of that source. And then I'm a little bit getting in ahead, but I'm going to say it anyway. And then so that is the expression of spirit, or spirit is the expression of soul. So spirit is like the expansiveness of our soul. It's the expansiveness of the physical manifestation of our spirit. So the soul is the individual expression of spirit. This has actually been the best way that that's helped me to differentiate between the two, because I didn't quite understand the difference between the two. So soul is like when we are, it's like what detaches, what fractals from the God oneness and downloads into the meat suit. That's what the soul is. And then when the soul returns up into divinity, that's the spirit. So cool. When we're in alignment and in balance between the two, we are in two worlds. We're able to operate in two worlds. We're able to go up and down that Jacob's ladder and interact with heaven and interact with heaven, interact with earth. So cool. I love that. Okay, so if you see our major energetic pathways run vertically, and that's because we are taller than we are wide. And you'll also see I have over here Earth Pole. So that is going to be our root, our base chakra that grounds us to the earth. And it's the energetic contact that we have through the body, that our soul has through the body. And grounding, so that process is called grounding, and that's comes from the solid contact that we make with the earth, especially through our feet and legs. So that's a beautiful, beautiful way to heal and to just get in touch, bring ourselves back into our bodies. So just going outside barefoot, being in salt water, even gardening. It is rooted in sensation, feeling, action, and the solidity of the material world. Grounding provides a connection that makes us feel safe, alive, centered in ourselves, and rooted in our environment. So some other ways to really ground are also to eat root vegetables like carrots and potatoes and turnips and parsnips, celery. Celery is a root. Yeah, but root vegetables are really good ways to do that. And also working out and stretching and yoga, singing, dancing are great ways to ground within our bodies as well. Tai Chi, is it Qigong, I think, but just ways to move our body and connect our body to our spirit. Beautiful way to ground. So then we have the pole of consciousness, which is going to be our upper chakra, the crown chakra, and it's experienced through our mind, which is our inner standing. It said understanding, but I like inner standing because it's like, you know, that's our interaction with the world and existence, or the way that we relate, dreams, beliefs, and memories as well. And it says consciousness, on the other hand, comes through that elusive entity we call the mind. In our understanding, our memory, our dreams, and beliefs, it also organizes our sensate information. When consciousness is detached from the body, it is wide and vague, dreamy and empty, but capable of great journeys. When it is connected to our body, then we have a dynamic energy flow throughout our being. In this way, the spiritual realm becomes embodied, making it tangible and effective. So this is bringing heaven in down to earth, or physical manifestation. So when energy flows between these poles, that is our life force energy. That's what it's referred to as. So again, connection between the two poles helps us bring heaven to earth as the spiritual realm becomes manifested physically. So an example of that is like having an idea and putting the idea into a blueprint, and then turning that blueprint into the physical structure. So soul and spirit are expressions of those two polarities. Again, as I said, from the book here, and here is a quote: soul is the individual expression of spirit, and spirit is the universal expression of soul. They connect and enhance each other. So beautiful. I love this, y'all. In effect, we're plugged into the system when we're connected. Just as like if we plug into a radio and we tune into different frequencies. So the chakras become like channels receiving and broadcasting at different frequencies. I was talking about light expressing itself at different frequencies, which is why there's different colors, because it's vibrating at a different frequency. Yeah, okay. These are our last two slides for today, you all. This is really fun and exciting. I like teaching, so I really hope you're enjoying this. Please comment down below if you took anything and you found this valuable at all. Please comment down below if you like it, if you have suggestions or anything else. But yeah, and like the video. Okay, so now we're moving on to liberation and manifestation. So again, liberation is the lightening of freeing of energy. Manifestation is the condensing of energy. So flow of consciousness enters through the crown chakra and moves down through the body, becoming more dense as it descends. So if you think about thoughts into words and words into form, as I mentioned in the last slide, just like contracting it more and making it more dense until it's actually something physical. Only through embodiment can consciousness manifest. Oh my gosh, y'all. These typos for real though. Anyway, so crazy. I'm like usually really, I think I was just like nervous and super stressed out and kind of anxious when I was making this, because I was like, I just want it to be good and I want people to be able to get the information. But anyway, you're getting the information. So this is just me being self-critical. Anyway, moving on. So we must find a balance between those currents to experience wholeness, as I mentioned before. So if there's a lack of liberation, a lack of being able to think freely and explore ideas and express our memories, or to explore our memories, or have you know, just freedom of thought, then that results in a lack of growth and expansion and monotony and routines and boredom and just a zombie state, because it's like, well, I can't think for myself, so what's my brain for? So I'll just, walk around with a dull stupor on my face. I don't know if that even makes sense. In a dull stupor, whatever, I don't know. And I'll just accept whatever anybody is feeding to me because I'm not allowed to think for myself. That's what happens when free thought and the upper chakras and just the ascension of the consciousness is blocked. So with lack of manifestation, when consciousness is not able to integrate and ground into the body, we hear the term head in the clouds, or just someone being dreamy and just like never here, aloof or disconnected and unable to make commitments or completions of things because they're just not physically present, not mentally present. So we have this term here, hieros gamos. It's the sacred marriage between those two beautiful polarities, and that creates limitless possibilities. When we are present, when we are balanced, when we have calibration and homeostasis between those that energy flow between those channels, then we are limitless. Then we are powerful, fully powerful. And when we're present, that is the most powerful position to manifest from. So awesome. On page 14, there is a quote that says, liberation is a path of transcendence. Manifestation is a path of eminence. Both lead to the same place, the divine. Love that. Moving on, this is our last slide for today. So this is manifestation and liberation continued. So the currents, those energetic currents that go up and down the channels can be disrupted by physical pain, by trauma, societal programming, or oppression. And I'm sure there's several other things that they are negatively impacted by. These are just some examples. So trauma, programming, and oppression cut us off from our grounding and from the liberating current, which originates at our base. So if you think about trauma, programming, and oppression, a lot of that has to do with upper chakra stuff. Well, it can actually be the full spectrum, but like programming and indoctrination, that has to do with the thoughts in the upper chakras. So it kind of disrupts that energetic vortex going down. And then when the liberating currents, when our base or our root chakra is negatively impacted, then we are not able to fully expand and grow. So I have mind over matter here in the middle of the slide, and that is what our culture a lot of times is based on. So with that mind over matter philosophy, that immediately cuts us off from our bodily experience. Okay, like don't be in your body, just only be in your mind. Like don't worry about it. Just only be in your mind. Your body doesn't matter. Okay, so that cuts us off from our physicality and from the earth even. When this severance happens, sexuality is negated. If you think about how like the gender craziness is going on, just a lot of those crazy agendas and the things that are going on right now and have been going on for decades at least. Our senses are assaulted because our senses are how we take in information from our environment in the world. Our environment is abused and our power is manipulated. We're not able to freely interact and process information and decide how to move forward or how things feel or make us feel. So our ground is our form, and without it, we lose our individuality. So when we get into disruptions at the upper pole, in terms of like misinformation and indoctrination, they invalidate our consciousness. And I spoke a little bit about this earlier. So They dictate and they steer or suppress individual and sovereign thought patterns. They lead us to doubting our own intuition or to disconnect our instincts and memories from our bodies. And it may lead to phobias, irrational fears, anxieties, or compulsive activities where behavior won't necessarily match the intentions of the conscious mind because there's a disconnect there. Also, as I mentioned earlier, information that's stored. Let me see if I skipped anything. Information is stored in both the physical and the mental states. So if one side's cut off, the other side can still be accessed, which is awesome. And it's truly beautiful in our healing because we're just such powerful beings. It's like, no, there's still a way to access me and get me past this hurdle. So bodies can hold long forgotten memories. So for example, like incest memories that might appear during massage or body work, they might come up. So sometimes masseuses and other people who do body work, chiropractic and everything have to give sometimes they will give a disclosure saying that you might have specific memories come up. Some people might like start crying. People might even start coughing, like certain things they might have like stomach aches because there's some sort of sensation that's coming up, a physical manifestation that's coming up because there is a energetic memory that is being awakened, which is pretty powerful and beautiful healing. Experiences, where was I? Oh, so incest memories can also come up during sexual activity. So if a child suppressed or forgot things that happened to them earlier on, when they get to that stage where they are starting to explore sexually, something might trigger those thoughts and cause like either cause them to like be thrown back into that traumatic experience or have some sort of negative response cascade. So bringing consciousness into our ground activates memories and experiences that reveal lies and misunderstandings that were previously blocked from our memory and deadening our consciousness. So again, the physical touch, the stretching, the grounding in our bodies, the dance, the massage, yoga, breath work, things that allow us to get into our bodies and truly ground, help us to bring those memories and move past those blocks so that we can start to experience real healing, true lasting healing. Also, this says, likewise, sensation can return to the body when attention is focused on certain mental material, the elements of a dream, characters in a novel, or images in a picture. So sometimes those things can spark memory cascade as well. And that's actually spoken about in the book that I'm reading on Sundays, which is the body keeps the score, brain, mind, and body in the healing of trauma. So we're talking a lot about this in this book, or not me, but Bessel van der Kolk actually discusses this in some of the research and testing that they did and therapies that they did with their clients. Oh, okay. Where was I? All right, so integration of the two currents creates the healing changes that we seek in our lives. So integrating the physical with the mental, integrating the grounding with the consciousness, it creates that beautiful energetic flow, and that helps the energy to flow and pass through those wheels of healing, those chakras that hold those specific energy programs that help us to thrive and survive and connect and ground and be conscious and express and love and intuit. it helps us to be more fully and more beautiful who we are created to be. So yeah, that is where we're going to stop today. This is page 15, and then we're going to be moving forward, you all. This is a lot of information, so thank you for being here with me, because I was just like, this is a lot, but I need to get this out because it's valuable information, and people really need to understand the connectedness between their mind and their body and how critical it is to their healing process. So I just love empowering you all. I thank you all so much for being here with me. And yeah, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please comment down below if you would like to share anything. But yeah, I love you all, and I will see you soon. You are sovereign, powerful, worthy, and loved. I can't forget that. I love you. Bye.